She says, let's just start. I want to talk about it right now.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't want these ideas to leave my brain.
Okay, well, really quickly before... Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome back, all of our listeners. That's just us. Because we can't even get our friends to listen to this yet.
We'll make some more. Anyway, so we wanted to start today. Before we talk about the movie, we want to start with some stuff that Hannah wants to talk about.
Yeah, okay, thanks for that intro.
Yep.
So anyway, I just want to lay down some things about the podcast. I decided to put it on YouTube. So welcome to
Oh my gosh.
Okay, you literally went to bed and then
Shut up.
I edited it and I put it on YouTube. What I'm gonna do, since we're gonna be first of all, let's just say first of all, the name of our podcast is now, I know we said Two Sweaty Girls in the first episode. That is
never ever. That's a joke.
That's a joke inside. Yeah. So y'all can't know about it because it's inside and you're out. Got 'em.
Bet you feel dumb.
Bet y'all feel
the name
dumb.
Of our podcast.
But our new podcast is Ba-da-da. Please say it.
You haven't seen it.
No, you've...
Oh, freak. I don't know. I knew I was going to mess it up. Alright, it's called
so much pressure.
You've Never Seen It.
Which is a quote from
our
what?
fave movie.
Our fave move.
La La Land.
Lol.
Lol.
Please, if you ever hear me abbreviating things on this podcast, just know I'm very sorry about it.
Yeah, that's what she does. But it is from Fave Move.
Fave Move La La Land. La La Land.
La La Land.
I don't know if we said it.
And it's when Ryan Gosling, the babe, is talking to Emma Stone, the babe. And she said, or he quotes something from one with
I got the
James
bullets.
Dean. Yeah. What is that called? Rebel Without a Cause. He quotes that from Rebel Without a Cause. And he says, I got the bullets. And she goes, yeah. And then he's like, you've never seen it. And then she's like, I've never seen it.
And he's like, oh my. You know, it's playing at the Rialto. And then they go, whatever. Anyway. You've never seen it.
Cute. Yeah, you've never seen it.
Oh my.
What did I say earlier? You have not seen it.
You haven't even seen it, bro.
What?
So we just want people to know that. Let it be known, the reference isn't like, you've never seen it, like those annoying film girls.
Yeah, no.
You know how film girls be.
You've never seen it. Oh my. That's what it is.
Yep.
It's just Ryan Gosling.
Anyway,
you know we love Holland.
Fave Move Holland.
Fave Move Holland.
Fave Move.
Ryan Gosling.
Fave Move. Back to the pod.
Cast. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Podcast. All right, cool. We call it pod now. Back to the pod. Back to pod. Go ahead.
So, any's,
time for hand talk. Hannah will
please,
talk now.
Okay, please.
Anyway.
Okay, please. So.
No more.
We have also decided. No mo.
No mo.
It's right there.
Okay. No mo. Sorry.
Okay.
So.
We've decided to continue with our ranking of the 50 best rom-coms of all time. So what we decided to make it a little easier is we're going to split the movies because some of them are so incomparable to the others. Like, how do you put, like, The Apartment in the same list as, like, What Happens in Vegas?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we're
just different stuff.
So we are going to split them into 5 categories.
5 categories.
5. Count them.
5
categories.
1,
5
2, 3,
cats.
4, 5.
5 cats.
Okay, so what is one, Hannah?
Categos.
One category.
So our number 1 category, which we did last week, is oldies.
Yes.
And by oldies we mean strictly before the 1980s.
Yeah.
Which isn't that old, but we're
like,
gonna call it that.
There's a lot made in like 50s to. Or, like, about, like, the 40s
They're basically the classics.
The 60s.
They're basically the classics.
There's not a lot made in, like, the 70s. But it's just, like, 80s is, like, John Hughes. So we just don't... Yeah.
Because once you hit the 80s, that's a different type of classic, baby. That's...
Yeah.
And we are very young, so these are all... oldies.
Okay, yeah.
But that's gross, so we don't want to say that. Anyway,
just before the 80s.
So we're talking, like, The Apartment right now is number 1 in that category.
And forever.
And then I will go ahead and lay out, as you can see right here in the video, I'll lay out our rankings, and each week as we go, it's a right here.
Okay, good.
Okay, this is gonna get. I don't have an Adobe subscription, so this is gonna get kind of jank, the video. But anyway,
We'll figure it out. I'm sure I'll have a good sleep.
Yeah, Holland won't
She's
do
so
crap.
Next.
She won't do crap.
Look, we gotta hurry.
Okay, so the next category is what? Okay, this is crazy, guys, because we're actually going to be redefining the rom-com genre.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And so what we have here in the second category is what I'm going to call a com-drom. No, I already messed it.
It's okay. It's hard. You haven't seen it. Go ahead.
You've never seen it.
You've never seen it. Go ahead.
A com-rom.
Com-rom.
Okay?
So comedy, romance.
We have rom-com.
Mm-hmm.
We have com-rom.
Comedy, romance. So comedy, romance is number 2, right?
And allow me to explain.
Yeah.
So you have, when you think of a rom-com, okay, you generally think of, I don't know, like 13 going on 30.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? However, allow us, please, if you will, to redefine that in your mind as a com-rom. Because what is the main aspect of that movie? It's the com.
It's the comedy.
It's the comedy.
Com-rom.
Yes, we love to abbreviate things. Yes, we love com, we love rom. Okay?
Yeah.
Please just see here as I've laid out. We have a couple of com-roms. This is what basically qualifies a com-rom, okay? Mm-hmm. It's pretty much made in the 2000s.
Basically, yeah.
It's pretty much just a good old time.
Got Julia Roberts in it.
It's probably got, well, that might not be true.
That's not true.
She usually puts it to a higher level.
That's true. She's a higher
Let's say it has Katherine Heigl in it.
Katherine Heigl, definitely com-rom.
That's a com-rom.
Yeah. Because it's just funnier than it is romantic, but it's still really romantic, right? Or really about the relationship.
It's in New York. They're working in the city, okay?
Yeah.
They're a big business girl. They're looking for Mr. Right, okay? That is the com-rom.
Yep.
It's fun. It's campy kind of, I guess. No, it's just kind of peppy. It's what it is. It's a com-rom. You guys know. You see here in the video. Okay?
Yeah, you'll see. Okay.
Literally number one characteristic of a com-rom is the white poster with two main characters, two white main characters standing together, either leaning on each other, back to back.
What about Hitch?
It's white, but it's just him.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
and it is red text.
Red text.
It is red title text.
Yes.
Completely white. They just did a quick background eraser on Photoshop.
But they're good. They're fun. They're the ones that you watch with the gals.
That's a com-rom.
The guys are like, those are chick flicks.
In fact, that might be what people are looking for when they look for 50 best rom-coms. But you know what? That's why we had to break it down. Because the next category, and this might get confusing, is the rom-com.
Rom-com. Romantic comedy.
Now, examples of this are basically a rom-com, but it's more romance than comedy.
Yeah.
So there's that. Like, for example,
I don't know.
For example, You've Got Mail.
You've Got Mail.
Listen,
more romance than it is comedy because it's kind of silly, but like I definitely just
the main, like, that's a fun movie, but the main like draw to it for me anyway is the aesthetic. Like,
amen.
It's a beautifully made film.
Fall, you know,
it's all the set pieces, okay? It's
but don't
all
get
the
too
fashion.
Much about it because we gotta do one for that too.
Anyway,
so
more of a romantic comedy instead of a comedy romance.
Yeah.
Okay, and you don't have to agree with us, whatever. Next category is high school rom-com because we had to set those apart.
Yeah, because they're just a whole different level. Like Clueless, like just crap like that. Like the. I'm gonna reveal that I hate the movie She's All That.
Oh my gosh.
But we'll get into a whole thing about
But I mean, I'm gonna put 10 things I hate about you number 1 on this list.
And that's just, that's why very different.
But we're gonna have to put, you know what I mean?
Because that's like, you know, like
I was about to put that number 1
like
on this
coming of age, like everything like that.
I was about to put this number 1 on this entire list, but
Amen.
That's why it can be number 1 in the high school section. Okay?
Yeah, because they have to be.
We've just really tried to move this around to be easier for everybody, and then the last section, which I have titled for now the Rom-Drom.
The Rom-Drom. Romantic, dramatic film.
So basically, it's a film, when you think of it, you don't think of it as a rom-com. You think of it as a dramatic or just a film.
Just a film with some romance.
It just happens to have some of the best romance.
Yes. Most classic. And that's why it's on that list.
I'm not saying it's a romantic movie. I'm not saying it's like...
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's like The English Patient that has like some grand romantic whatever. Okay?
I don't know.
I'm just saying it's ending up on these lists online of the best rom-coms.
That's where we got
But it's actually...
not really
just a beautiful film that has romance.
It's not really funny, you know? Like, maybe there's some funny aspects to it, but it's a lot more dramatic, like, heart-touching, kind of.
One example is Moonstruck.
Oh, my gosh. We need to watch it.
We don't need to talk about that right... We don't need to get into it right now, because I will die for that movie.
What's another example?
Jerry Maguire.
Or, what about this one that we watched today? Do you want to...
listen.
Okay, go ahead.
What a good lead-in, darling.
Yes, yes, it was.
Well, this is what's kind of awkward, because I was about to put this in the rom-com category, meaning it's a little more romantic comedy rom-com, but then after watching the movie...
No way.
We're gonna have to debate.
Rom-drom.
We're gonna have to debate.
I think rom-drom, Hanny. Okay, so let's just say the movie first, and then we'll figure it out.
I agree. Oh, I'm not... I'm actually not disagreeing with you.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying that I was
like, weird. But I was like, whatever. I guess she can express herself. Which we'll talk about more in this movie.
Feel free to express. That was supposed to be an abbreviation of express yourself, but it's like... But it's just literally the same word. Okay, I'm so sorry. It's actually almost 1 a.m. and we're laying outside in our beds in the living room, and it's just...
We have a wedding to go to at 8. So, let's get this crap done.
The movie is...
About a Boy.
About a Boy. Which...
Should we do
A++, right?
So good. I just felt so happy and sad and just drawn to this film. So do you want me to do a...
Yeah, so...
Talkity-talk
I'll just say that this movie, I mean, it could be debated that it should be in a rom-com list at all, but it was. It was on lots of lists, and, you know, I've seen it before, and I'm like, oh, yeah, great rom-com. But, you know, thinking about it... He doesn't meet a romantic interest until an hour into the movie.
Yes.
And it's actually not about that at all. What is it about? It's about a boy.
About a boy. Not about some girl that he meets and about their romantic relationship. It's about a boy and how this boy changes his life.
You know what? It's about their relationship.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Do these rom-coms really have to be a romantic relationship between a man and
that
a woman?
is what a rom-com is. Romantic relationship. Because he doesn't have a romantic relationship
it's a drom-com.
It's a drom-com.
It's a drom-com that happened as...
It's a drom-rom.
You know what? We watched it, so it's on here.
All right.
Okay.
So, here's the part where I tell about the movie. And it's hard for me.
Wait a minute. Before you do that, I'm so sorry, because this is very... I promise we'll be put together more. Maybe before you do that, I should, talk about the movie a little bit. The logistics of the film. Okay, how about that? So this is the movie About a Boy. Okay? It came out in... What year are we guessing? Probably 2002. Yep. 2002. Starring...
Hugh Grant.
The lovely... This is probably how it ended up on the Romcom 50 list.
Yeah.
It's Hugh Grant.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a rom man.
I didn't like him before this movie, but watching this movie, I was like, okay, I like you. I feel like you're a good actor. So
what did you not like him from?
Probably Love Actually.
Don't talk about that.
We will later. But not in this one. But I just honestly don't think he's that attractive.
Yeah, we'll see. Let's note for the future, interesting to see how your opinion will change after we watch Notting Hill. I'm not going to say anything about it, but...
Okay.
Because...
I don't find him that attractive, but it was refreshing in this movie to see him not as, the lovely Englishman that comes into America and all the girls fawn over him. It was set in England, which I was, grateful for. I was like, thank goodness he's not in freaking New York. I cannot freaking handle another New York.
It's interesting, actually, because this movie, it's based on the novel by none other than Nick Hornby, which I had to pause it because I was like, huh?
And what else
Nick
does he
Hornby?
write?
He writes a movie which I love. A novel turned into a movie, High Fidelity.
High Fidelity, yeah.
Juliet Naked, yeah, I've never seen that, I guess, but...
That's kind of...
Oh, but look at this. I mean, the screenplays he's written. He wrote Wild, Brooklyn, and Education. Okay,
Yeah.
Those are all great. He wrote High Fidelity.
I've seen none of these, so...
Yeah. Well, they're good.
Yeah.
Needless to say, Fever Pitch. Oh, maybe we should add that. Okay, no. We're getting so off track. So written by Nick Hornby, however, directed by Chris Weitz and Paul Weitz, who I assume are brothers. Looks like they did like Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Oh, good one.
Once again, that's kind of falling into the rom-com category.
But it's just not on the list.
Rogue One.
Ooh, I hate
Rogue
that movie.
One.
Hate that movie.
Okay, and the other brother not that much. So anyway, and it's Hugh Grant with Nicholas Hoult, baby Nicholas Hoult, being introduced.
His first movie, so good.
Literally kills it. And then we have Toni Collette, my fave. I love her to death.
She's amazing.
She's so amazing at doing real acting performances. Like,
yeah.
She always does something that's, like, kind of out there.
Heart-touching.
I mean, come on. Like, she's a classic lady.
What else is
Little
she?
Miss Sunshine, Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
I mean,
she's always doing just, like...
Hereditary. Anyway,
yeah,
she's real, and she was really real in this movie. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and let Holland do what we like to call. Holland tries to recap the movie that we literally just watched. Go ahead.
Okay, so this movie is about Hugh Grant. His character is named Will, and Will is kind of a douchebag. He's actually just a straight douchebag, and it's kind of a movie about...
You were upset.
Oh, yes, I was. It started, and I was like, D-bag extraordinaire. But the movie is about how he... So basically, he's a bachelor who's trying to get with lots of women, whatever. He's doing great, fine, whatever. He drives a fast car, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, douchebag. And then he realizes that he can do an even douchier thing, which is hit up single moms because they're freaking vulnerable and upset. And he's like, nice, I can just... and it's kind of, because like English slang, he says like, I can just shag them, like whatever. And I'm like, oh, douchebag. like that's so messed up. But so he goes to a thing, like an organization that's like single parents alone together, right? SPAT is what they call it. And he's trying to pick up single moms. And how does he do this? He lies, which is a douchebag thing to do. In case you're wondering, like the things that make you a douchebag, lying about having a child and trying to pick up on vulnerable women, that's kind of a douchey thing to do. So he goes to these things and he lies to them that he has a child. And he meets this lady, Susie, whatever, and he goes on a date with Susie and her daughter, right? And Susie picks up her friend's son. And her friend's son, what is his name? It's Nicholas Hoult. Marcus. Yes, thank you, Hannah. So she picks up Marcus, and she's like, Marcus's mom is kind of having a rough time.
But Marcus was also introduced as a narrator in the beginning.
That's true. It's cool because they have two narrators. They have... Hugh Grant and like his point of view, and then Nicholas Hoult, his point of view. So Will and Marcus, and their contrasting points of view. So anyway, Susie picks up Marcus, and she brings him to the date with Will, and Will meets Marcus, and he's like, this kid's weird, and Marcus is like, this guy's a douche, because everyone can see it, and then, like, on going home, they bring Marcus home, and trigger warning, trigger warning, suicide. Marcus's mother has tried to commit suicide, and so they bring him home, they walk in, they see his mother, she's thrown up, and they call an ambulance, and he drives Marcus and Susie and her little daughter Megan to the hospital behind the ambulance with the mother in it. And the mother ends up okay. Still with severe depression and, you know, suicidal tendencies and things like that. But you don't see it as much. But that's why I think it's a dram-rom. But anyway, so then Susie kind of realizes this guy is a jerk. But Marcus also realizes this guy is a jerk. And he's like, this guy's a jerk. I'm going to, like, absolutely blackmail him. Are there people outside?
If they come in, we'll just pause it.
Okay. But he's like, I'm going to blackmail him so he'll date my mom. Because he thinks that it'll make his mom happy. That doesn't end up working out. But what ends up happening is Marcus and Will become friends. And Will kind of finds that he doesn't have any meaning in his life. And he wants to have meaning, and he finds meaning through loving another person who is Marcus. And Marcus finds meaning through loving another person who is his mom, Fiona. So it just is this, it's like a really sweet, special movie about
a boy.
About a boy, and also about his relationship with a man, a grown-up boy, with Will, and how they become friends and how they just support each other and how he helps him and, like, their whole relationship, and how he helps the mom, and then also how he falls in love with this other girl and realizes, like, what love is because Marcus teaches him. And it's, you know, less about sex, which is, you know, he thought it was all about sex, which is another douchey thing that he did. But it's basically just a whole story about him becoming undouchey and about loving other people. And Marcus realizing that he needs other people too. And Fiona realizing that she needs to...
also let people help her.
Yeah, let people help her. And it's just like a movie about community and about love. And so... It starts with all these people being individuals, islands, as Will calls them.
Yeah.
And then it ends with them deciding that nobody is an island and that they need everybody to help everybody. So that is my recap of that movie.
Good recap.
Thank you.
Good recap.
Thank you. Recap.
Good cap.
Thank
Good
you.
cap.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really like. I'm glad you said that because there's this like shot in the beginning. He has like such a new age, like cool 2000s guy bachelor apartment.
Yeah.
And he has like a fish tank that's see-through.
So
and you see him alone and he says, every man is an island.
Yeah.
And then that's the first shot. And then the last shot is everyone over at his house for Christmas.
Yeah.
He has his new girlfriend. He has her son. He has like Will's new friend from school. There's a bunch of people over.
Yeah.
And then it's like, nobody's an island and we all need each other and blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah,
And
blah.
that's what Marcus says, and it's cool to see that contrast of the narrators. That
Great.
it starts with Will, where he's like, every man's an island.
Yeah.
And it ends with Marcus being like, no man's an island. Just like Will
Yeah.
told me. And
Yeah.
it's like, bruh, look at how children view things and how it's just so much more precious and wonderful than adults view things. Even when children go through horrible things, I think that this just shows that they really just view it with a lot more hope. So,
Yeah, and don't we all need childlike hope if we're sad, worn out Hugh Grant bachelor guys?
Yeah.
Because he was living off of his dad's royalties.
Yeah, that's right.
From writing a famous song, Santa's Super Sleigh, and it's pretty funny. It's classic. And here's why I think it is a rom. And
aside from all of the, you know, trigger warnings. And
yeah,
things
exactly.
Like
Like what this movie could have been, even though it is Nick Hornby, so like it's obviously going to be something special. But I mean, what this movie could have been, which is kind of what they did with the spin-off TV show.
Yeah. So what you're talking about?
That came out a while ago with like Sam, the hot doctor from New Girl, and Minnie Driver, and the kid is in it too. But anyway, another kid. But what could have been this movie is like, super
hot bachelor guy.
super douchey bachelor guy meets like weird kid and kind of uses him in a more comedic way to get women, and then like realizes he probably shouldn't do that, and then like has a happy ending with A or B woman. Like it's just kind of meh. But what
or
makes
like
this
with
the mom.
The mom.
That was kind of what's expected. And what happens in the show. Spoiler for that show.
Which is
sorry, but
which I don't think works in this movie. I think it's kind of trash.
What makes it drum and what makes it good
Yeah.
was all of that real human emotion displayed, and also like just genuine like happy moments and genuine like love, and there's comedy, but it's more a drama.
Yeah.
And it kind of presents itself as a rom-com kind of like 2000s movie.
Yeah, and it's super...
And you're like, wait, what? Because then that moment when they find the mom...
Yeah.
And she's committed suicide,
like,
it gets serious.
Or she's trying to.
It's almost seems like out of tone for the movie, but that's why I kind of like it, because
it's out of
that's
tone
a shocking moment.
Yeah, it's out of tone for everyday life, because like we all want to live like a rom-com kind of life, you know, where like Heath Ledger sings on the bleachers for us, you know. But like sometimes we have moments like that, and sometimes we have moments like in this movie where our entire life just shatters before our eyes. But then also later in this movie, we have moments when we're walking down the hallway at school and we're listening to the new CD that the douchey bachelor guy got us, and we're singing it, and we're like, shake your ass, like, you know, like,
show me what you're working with.
Show me what you're working with.
Please,
you know, it's just like,
if you don't watch this movie, please just look up that scene, because baby
so
Nicholas Hoult
funny.
singing to that is like
precious.
It's top 10 Nicholas Hoult performances.
For real.
Possibly number 1.
I think it is number 1.
And yeah, so that's what I like about that.
Yeah,
and
me too.
Let's talk a little bit more, I guess. Basically what we wanted to do is go through some of the stuff that we did last time. So the recap, but I'd like to hit first, I think, since we're kind of on that note.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the mental health stuff, because it was really a great film. Like the way that they displayed how the mom is suppressed. Yeah. She's suicidal, and she kind of jokes like, you don't just get rid of this in one day. And everyone's like, hey, let's fix it. Yeah. And she's like, that's not how that works. Yeah. Like, and then not only that, but it kind of also addresses, you know, if you're suicidal, how that affects the other people in your life.
Yes. And how her son tries to fix her. And then how Will tells Marcus, he's like, nothing that you do will make your mom happy forever. You know, like...
You have to make yourself happy.
You have to make yourself happy. She has to make herself happy. That's up to her. And, like, it kind of shows up at first as, like, his douchey, selfish self being like, that's not my problem. He says that early in the movie. He's like, that's not my problem. She's not my problem. But later he says it in the movie to the boy, and he's like, that's not your problem. But it's more like taking it off of his shoulders. Yeah, it's like, dude, like, you can do everything you can to try and help her, but like, she needs to go and help herself. And I just really like that.
It's so healthy, because
it is.
It's really upsetting to see the boy Marcus
so young,
after like being like, Mom, I can't be here with you all the time to watch you and make sure that you're gonna be okay. We need at least another person. Yeah. And that's what drives him to do the kind of cute, like, let's get our parents, or my mom with Will, but let's like...
But ends up with a whole community of people to support his
true,
mother,
and they all learn to support each other.
Yes.
Even though every man is an island in the way that he has to be happy and support himself, but like it's like, let's all just be little islands that like conglomerate together like Pangea, bro.
Yeah, like, let's get some Pangea, y'all.
Pangea is what the earth should be.
Yeah. And
honestly.
But it's really cool. And I think that it's refreshing to see a movie portray mental health so openly. Like this woman, and it's not something that makes me feel really sick. You know, because sometimes I watch movies about mental health, or I watch shows about mental health, and I feel it inside myself. And like, I want to be able to connect with the movie, you know, but like, I don't want to be triggered so hard that like I need to take, like, you know, I need to like...
It takes you there to feel the connection, but then it, you know, has hope.
Yeah, because it allows it to not be your problem.
It's like The Apartment again. I don't know why we're starting so heavy, but these are why they're the best. Yeah. It's because these movies are able to address really harmful things like suicide.
And just how it affects everybody.
Yeah, and then also show the best way to come out of those things, which is, you know, to lean on other people and to also like not let those people fix you, but like lean on other people while you fix yourself.
Yes, don't be like codependent, you know, like all those things.
And I mean, obviously in in the way of a child and a mother, it's kind of different. And so that's why he's like, you know what? And again, the importance of having two parental figures, because he was like, I need three at least.
It can't just
because
be two
if
of
there's
us.
just two of us, then we don't have a backup, and I need a backup. And then you have Will, you know, Hugh Grant's character, being like, I need to be alone. And then he's like, I'm kind of good for nothing. Like, I got nothing going on in my life.
But then he has Marcus and that connection, and that helps him. Because that's important. Like, we need to help other people in this life. You know? Like, we need to do things. We need to help and be helpful.
Yeah.
Because if we don't, then it's like he says in the movie, he's like, my life is full, but like I feel empty.
It's blank.
Kind of thing. Yeah, it's blank. That's what he says.
Yeah, and I mean, and he makes this relationship, which it's not a romantic relationship, but because he makes this relationship, he is then able to make a romantic relationship.
Yes, which we love.
We love that. We love healthy snaps.
Yeah, snaps. This one is also kind of a more mellow film. Like, the last one, I was definitely screaming as we were filming it, but it is like 1 a.m. But it's also just more mellow. It just, I'm like...
At the beginning, you're like, oh, okay, this is one of those upbeat 2000s, whatever, I'm watching it late night on TV movies. It's not.
It gets ya.
It gets ya. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's good. Was it feminist? I mean, yeah.
Yeah. I think it was, because I think it started out where I'm watching this douchebag, and I'm like, oh, screw you, you know? But then you see really quickly that, like, he's going to be taught a lesson, and that's my favorite thing. My favorite thing.
Oh, you know, when they're blatantly showed that bad, you're like, they're about to be changed.
You just see that this douchebag is going to learn. And there's a part in the movie and that I love so much when, like, he's sitting in a restaurant. He's with his sister.
I was going to say.
Yeah, he's with his sister, and the mom of Marcus comes in, and she starts yelling at him because she doesn't know that Marcus is going and hanging out with him, and she assumes that he's being a pervert, but he's not, which is good. I'm glad that they don't, like, focus too much on that, but also, like, are concerned about that. But it's the sister, Fiona, which is Marcus's mom, and the waitress, and they all just gang up on this dude, and, like, what the hell are you doing? Like, you're being...
You can't just... Yeah, bro.
Yeah, they're like, are you, like, harassing this kid? And he's like, no! And then they all, like, believe him, which is cool.
That's a great scene.
Yeah, but then also just, like, women supporting women. And, like, bro, you can't do that. Like, you can't just be part of his life and then not be part of his life. Like, you're part of this now. Like, you can't just...
Yeah, so the mom immediately, instead of kind of doing the trope of, like, oh, she's a crazy lady, and she goes and yells at him and ruins his date. Haha. It's not a date. First of all, he's with his sister.
Yeah. And she's telling him what a trash bag he is.
Yeah.
Because he won't have any relationships with any people.
And then the mom immediately after, she's like, so you're not a pervert? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, go ahead and, like, fine, don't have him come over anymore. Like, I'm glad to have him out of my life. And he sits back down, and the mom's like,
no.
Like, it's not that easy. Like, she literally switches immediately, and she's like, no, apparently, even though I didn't know it, like, you're apparently important to him, which is so great. Like, I just really love how real that is. And then the waitress doesn't leave, and the waitress is like, no way, bro, that's messed up.
She's just like, yeah. And she just agrees, which is
cool.
And
as soon as she's like, you're so selfish. That's what the mom says, Fiona. Mm-hmm. And then his sister is like, oh my gosh, that's what I was just telling you.
Yeah.
It's like,
which is funny. We don't love people ganging up on other people, you know, but we do love interventions, right?
And the way that these women all actually care, even this random waitress cares about
this boy, cares about his life, cares about this other woman's life who's suicidal, cares about
his
this
sister's
man's
like
life.
Great. Is it his sister?
It is his sister, I think.
Anyway,
so I think it is feminist.
Yeah, and I think he obviously, you know, he takes their advice and cares also. Yeah. And it's like, he learns to change his ways.
Because it starts out with some really anti-feminist things.
Oh, he's...
Like when he says, bro, this part.
Oh, she was about to...
Oh, bro, it threw me.
It's so funny in these movies. Everyone, I want you to know that Holland feels the film.
I do.
Any emotion displayed... That's why we can't watch too dark of movies or anything. Because
No.
you'll go there.
Yeah.
You will go there.
I get it.
And so she's like, oh, the anger had stirred me up.
Because I will personally, I'm going to personally call Hugh Grant. I'm going to tell him what a dick he was.
He's literally
in this movie.
an actor.
He's an actor, I know. But I'm like, I just want you to know that in this film.
But like low-key.
Your character.
Yeah.
Dick. Sorry, this is going to have to be like explicit because I'm swearing a bit in this.
Let it out.
But.
BB.
Express yourself. But I think this is going to be kind of long also.
Yeah, just keep going.
Okay. But yeah, I do really, really feel it. But what were we talking about? What part were we talking about?
At the beginning.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. His sister invites him. His sister and his brother-in-law invite him to be the godfather of their daughter, okay? She's a flippin' child. She's, like, brand new baby. And then he says, oh, no, that's not a good idea. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm glad he knows that about himself. But then he's like, you know, like, honestly, probably, I'm the worst person to do that. And I'm like, glad he knows himself. And then he continues. This is before any character development. He continues and he's like, honestly, probably I would just, like, you know, like, raise her. Or, like let her grow up. Not forget every birthday. Just be shit crap to her, and on her 18th birthday, take her out to get her drunk, and honestly, just try to shag her. And he said that, and I was like, what the hell? And I was like, can you imagine if your brother said that to you? I can't. I don't have a brother, and also cannot.
I cannot.
I can, but I don't know if you can, but like I cannot. But like, if I did, like, bruh. I would not be going out to lunch with him after that. I would be so offended.
That's really a defining characteristic for your opening character so that we don't like him.
Yes.
And then, what does he learn?
To be a freaking human being. Gosh dang it. He's a freaking idiot.
He learns how to like kids. He learns that people are important. He learns how to basically just be a good all-around guy because he's really doing nothing. Mm-hmm. And you have to have a passion in your life. You have to have a purpose.
Yeah. You have to have things that you love, you know?
And you know what? That's a theme too, because that's what the mom learns. Like, she has a purpose. She has to be a mom.
Yeah. And so it's just like a purposeful
She's like,
movie.
I'm going to be around. And she finally promises that in the end.
Yes, which is so awesome. Like, she's like, I told
you. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I'm dead. I'm literally dead.
What?
Just right now.
Oh my gosh.
Well, we're making our podcast. Bro, that scared me so bad. They're outside our window. We'll pause. We'll be back.
And we're back.
Hey, we're back.
Sorry, that was our roommate, and she came home
and peeked through the window.
And started
and
chit-chatting.
It's 1 a.m. and I was afraid, so you know.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
You know how it be. I'm trying to abbreviate stuff, but now I'm like don't know how. It's so late. Okay,
I don't know how.
Focusing.
Okay,
so we pretty much talked about the feminism then.
Yes.
I think that scene itself was the best. Where they were in the restaurant and like he was
also just
he was a womanizer, and then he obviously
his entire change of character.
He ends up going to the spat meeting at the end of all the moms showing up and being like to the mom of Marcus being like, you need to not kill yourself again, please, because not try to, because that ain't cool. And they kind of have a moment, and she says, wow, you just showing up here, like, that means something. Like, you're not a meaningless person, because he's like, I'm meaningless, I couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So anyway,
it's good.
Great. Quotes that we liked?
Oh, there was one that I thought during the thing, I was like, I need to remember this one. I think it's when they're in the car, when Will and Fiona are in the car. And what does he say to her?
So he's like,
oh, they're talking about, okay, so here's the dealio.
Okay, don't tell like the whole thing, but.
Okay, well, Marcus is going to perform at the school, like singing thing, because
make his mom feel better.
Yeah, his mom feels really good when he sings.
Which is going to be social suicide, because no kid needs to go up during a rock concert and sing "Strumming My Pain"
with his tambourine. Yeah, but he's going to do that.
He's willing to do it for mom because he thinks it will fix her.
Yes, and so Will finds out, and then he's like, what the crap, no way. So he drives.
Because he's been bullied.
Yeah, because he's been bullied, and Will has seen that. So then he's like, he's driving Fiona, and he's like, what the crap? And then she's like, what's wrong with it? Like, I don't get it. What's wrong with people expressing themselves? Or there's nothing wrong with people expressing themselves. And he says, he's not expressing himself, he's expressing you. And I was just like, oh.
And little Toni Collette is like,
yeah.
She literally like, gasped, and she's like, oh my gosh.
And then she's like, oh, I'm a bad mother. Like, all this stuff. But I just really like that, because it's true. There is nothing wrong with people expressing themselves. But if they're not expressing themselves and they're expressing another person, like, that just hit different, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah, that's good. And I mean, that was another theme of the film, is parenting styles.
Yeah.
Like, Holland was telling me during it, she was like,
Upsetting.
I want to be like how he is as a parent, but I do not want to be like him at all. Because I want to be a friend to the child, and I want to just let them do whatever the heck they want. But,
not quite, but.
But, like, at the same time, he's a useless person, like,
and he has no attachment to him, and he sends him away, and he gets mad. And
he's like, yeah, dude, I'm the dude that buys you nice shoes and whatever. Like, I'm not like
your dad.
Not a dad.
Yeah.
But the mom, at the same time, she's like really hippy dippy, and she's like, okay, it's all right for everyone. If you feel anger, it's all right to express it, and you must honor it. On it. And it's like,
not good.
It's so dumb.
Yeah, but
anyway,
but I thought that was really interesting, because I'm studying child development, and we're learning a lot about parenting styles, and so I really liked how Will was just like, he understands Marcus, he just connects with him, and like, that's what I want, I want to aspire to be that, but also so much aspire to be the mom where it's like, everybody can feel whatever they feel, express what you need.
Yeah.
But, like, try to understand, do neither of the things that they do, because they both have a lot of messed up things. But, like, try to understand your child, and, like, try to understand themselves so that you can help them express themselves. But, yeah.
And I mean, she kind of has this open dialogue with her child, and he's like, no, everything is just an argument. She's like, I'm letting you express yourself. And he's like, no, you just win.
No.
So just tell me what to do.
Yeah.
And so it's a really interesting, anyway, so that's a good quote.
That's a good quote.
Other good quote, I guess, when he says, like, every man is an island, blah, blah, blah. And then I also like the bit where he says, like, my life is measured in units, which is such a, like, man thing to think and to write into a novel and to make into a movie and whatever. Like, it's just, like, my
units
life,
are, like, 30 minutes.
He's like, so 30 minutes to eat lunch, 2 hours to get a haircut.
3 units to exercise.
3 units. Yeah. Units. Here's a good, like, not only quote, but a reference to a little known movie called Frankenstein.
Oh my goodness gracious, great balls of fire, you guys. Okay. Holland loves Frankenstein. I love Frankenstein, you guys. That was me talking both times, just in case you didn't know. But this man tries to freaking spend...
Wait, I love Frankenstein too.
Okay, yeah, but like... Okay, whatever. Anyway.
Just like, back off.
Frankenstein is my thing. But literally love it so much.
You've read it, and you're obsessed.
You haven't read it?
What? How? When did it? What?
I thought you read it in high school.
No, if I read... No.
So I actually love it.
Okay, but I've seen the film.
So have I.
I watched it.
So have I. I win.
We watched Mary Shelley together, the movie.
Yeah, we did. Anyway, so I win. So I love Frankenstein. No, it's okay. Anyway, so love Frankenstein. But this man, Will...
Wait, I'm sorry, wait. Do you love Frankenstein?
Shut up, dude. Shop.
Shut up, bro.
So...
You love Frank?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I just thought that was really, really cool, and it had way deeper meaning than they showed in the film because there's not enough time. But this man, Will, thinks that he's going to spend Christmas all alone, and he's not going to spend it with Marcus, his homie, right? Because, like, they got into a little tiff, whatever. So he's like, I spend Christmas alone every year. I watch a horror film, and I just get drunk and, like, whatever. So he gets a horror film, Frankenstein, which... No. He thinks this is going to be like a slasher, like, jump scare horror film, but this is a psychological horror film, right? Like, this is a psychological story that will get you thinking about crap, and it will get you changing your life because it has a whole God complex where it's like, if you create something or if you are invested or involved in something, if you don't nurture that, then the thing will turn into a monster at the monster of Frankenstein, right? Like, that is what the whole thing is about. So then, I was just crying.
They boiled it down to alone, bad.
Alone,
friend,
bad.
Good.
Friend, good.
And I was like, wow, that was pretty on the ball.
Yeah.
Of them.
And not saying that the Frankenstein movie, like, from the 50s is, like, accurate to the book at all. But that is kind of the idea there, is like a lone bad friend, good, you know, and just like one second.
we were interrupted by yet another roommate. Anyway,
we've been going off. So anyway, Frankenstein peak.
But the way that you were like, oh, you like pause and you're like, pause. And then you're like, he's gonna choose that movie if any movie is gonna make him literally analyze his life and realize that he needs to turn outward instead of alone as a man. Literally. It will be Frankenstein. And then she's like, Mary Shelley did it again, people. Like,
freaking shout out to Mary Shelley, the love of
Mary Shelley, you a real one for that, bro.
Like, I love her so much.
Yeah, so that was a really good reference. I liked that a lot.
She's the queen that I want to
become. And I mean, again, props to what's his name, freaking Nick Hornby again. Yeah, because
that's such a good.
He's
reference.
good, you know. And yeah. I loved. I think the most quotable thing was just all the narration from them. You know, like there's like when little Nicky Holte is at school and he's all like, yeah, well, so life at home is shit and life at school is shit, so whatever, you know. And it's entertaining in that way. And yes, that's good.
Yeah, but I think that's everything to quote.
Yeah, I think we talked about main character dynamic, relationships, obviously, yes. Like, this is about a boy, it is about their relationship. Yeah. I mean, is this even a rom-com? Maybe not. So let's actually get to that point. Like, was there sexual tension, chemistry with him and his rom? Which was Little Miss Rachel Weisz.
And her name was just Rachel in the film, which I thought was great.
And she was a little mommy.
Yeah.
And her son was funny.
I think it was good. I liked the way that he talked about her, because he talked to Marcus about liking girls and whatever. And Marcus was like...
Oh, that's right. That was a good moment.
Yeah, because Marcus is like, what's the difference between a girl that's your friend and a girlfriend? And he's like, well, you know, you want to like, touch her? Yeah, and then he was like, that's not all that a relationship is. Marcus is like,
no, I just want to like be around her all the time and tell her stuff that I don't tell anybody else. And like... have a relationship with her, and like I guess if I get to touch her, that's fine. And he's like, you'll change, buddy.
Yeah, but then he changes, which is so classy.
He's like, oh, I don't even care about touching her, I'd be there for whatever.
Yeah. And then I really like when he's talking to her.
That's love.
Yeah, when he's talking to her on the couch, he's just like, she's so interesting. When Will is talking to Rachel, he's like, she's so interesting, and every time she says anything interesting, I just want to kiss her. Like, I just think that she's so smart, and like, and I just like love hearing
that is romantic. Yeah,
yes, like love hearing that like a man thinks that a woman is smart, and that is why he's attracted to her. Like, freak freak
huge character change from the beginning.
So trying to get with like vulnerable moms,
and then actually ending up with a vulnerable mom. And he does use Marcus to kind of talk to her, but then once he realizes that he had done wrong, he leaves, and he's like, you know,
he's honest.
Once she finds out that he was lying, he's like, I'm sorry, and he just leaves the date. Yeah, and that is a huge turnaround from him like breaking up with people in the beginning. So I think that
they do have good and sexual they do chemistry, but it's not like
it's not the main focus, because what is this about?
A boy.
Yeah. And not in the way that it's a romantic boy between him and the boy, but in the way that it's about his relationship with the boy and how it helps all of his other relationships.
Yes.
And so in that way, you know, it's romantic because he's a little daddy. Anyway.
But him and the girl have a good chemistry on screen and things like that.
Yeah.
But there's only a couple minutes of them, honestly. So it's like,
yeah. So the last couple things I have on here, slaps.
No slaps.
There were no slaps in the film.
Slaps. Why did we have slaps on there? I thought we said we didn't want slaps.
Listen, I had it. I thought that there was going to be a slap, but...
When?
There wasn't. Because he was very deserving, you know, when, like, they all found out that he'd been making up the fact that he had a child.
But also, when is a person ever deserving of another person slapping them? Never, I think.
How about this?
Unless it's like self-defense, you know?
But the reason I kept it in is because like I feel like slap is a thing that actually happens a lot in these like kind of cheap rom-coms where it's like, oh, a high tension moment, she slaps him.
Yeah, which is gross.
But how about we convert it to this? Hear me out. What was a moment that
verbal slap
hit you?
A moment that hit
like
me?
a slap from the film.
Let me think. Like, that slapped me?
Like, that slapped, but, like...
Slapped me or, like, slapped him? Like, a roast to him or, like...
No, like, what is a moment that
hit
slapped you? Like, it slapped, bro. But, like, not in that way, but, like, it shocked you. You know? I think probably the part when they found her after she committed suicide.
Yeah,
or tried,
that was a slap.
attempted.
Yeah.
That was a slap.
And then when they played it again, it was a slap. Ruined my life.
The beginning was a short series of slaps because of how crazy he was.
Oh my gosh, he was disgusting. Like that one part when he just said that he would shag their daughter when she was 18. I was like,
yeah, we obviously mentioned that. So yeah, lots of slaps. The ending slapped, like in a good way.
Yeah,
like in the way that they were on stage. I'm a sucker for a classic school assembly like concert ending of a film.
Yeah.
They are so good.
Yeah.
Because there's almost nothing more terrifying and, like soul healing and opening than going out there in front of an elementary or whatever school he was.
And just singing your freaking heart out and having everybody throw crap at you. Like, that's good.
That's a character defining moment.
But I loved...
life changing. Heartwarming.
I feel like it slapped when there was a part that I was like, that slapped. When he's at Christmas and Susie, the girl that he took on a date like originally and tricked her that he had.
That's when I thought she would slap him.
Yes, that is where there was more of a verbal slap there, I think, because she comes to Christmas.
Oh wow, we're on the same page.
She comes to Christmas and then Will is like, she kind of says something sassy and then Will is like, okay, like I'll leave. And then the mom is like, yeah, probably you should leave, like, blah, blah, blah. And then they're all just kind of trash-talking him. And then the mom, again, says, like, she deserves, because
she's angry and she deserves to have her voice be heard.
Yeah, but then her son Marcus is like, I don't want Will to go. I'm the one that invited him. Like, I don't want him to go. Mm-hmm. And so then it's this discourse between the mom and the son. And she's like, well, Susie, whatever her name is, Susie is angry. And Hugh Grant,
she has a right to be angry.
Yeah, Will is like, she does have a right to be angry. Like, I will leave. It's fine. Like, I don't think that I should be here. I have a right to leave. And then Marcus is like, yeah, well, I don't want you to leave. And so, like, she can express herself, but, like, I'm expressing myself, too. Yeah. And then he ends up staying for the whole thing. And I think it's cool because it's just, like, look at how freaking domestic we can be. Because, like, this woman could have come in, slapped him, you know, ruined the whole Christmas, and it could have been justified, like the mom is saying. But, like, it's not justified. Because it's not justified to slap people unless they're attacking you, Like,
listen, unless it's really justified.
Yeah, I guess. But I don't think in this film that it was very justified.
I swear in one of these movies that there's going to be more slaps than we're thinking.
I think so.
So yeah, that was great. That was good.
But yeah, that was just cool because it was like, all right, we can be domestic. We can be adults about this, Because the kid is the most adult
and then
in there. And it was like, nice. Good work, Marcus.
Yeah, and then they turned it into a little comedy because, like, they turned it around because it was funny that every time that people began to mention that she had tried to commit suicide, they, like, replace it with something else to kind of, like, do you know what I mean? So, like, he was saying, like, yeah, well, don't you remember why we met him? It's because you, and then he's like, well, actually, it's because you threw some bread at a duck. And
yeah, basically.
And then later when he's like, they're at the restaurant yelling at each other, and he's like, you can't be there for your son because you tried to, and then the kid's just like, cowabunga!
Yeah, I liked how they didn't talk about it.
Yeah, but not in the way that it wasn't healthy, but in the way that it was like, let's just, not, because,
yeah. We all know what's going on. This is very long, but
anyway,
we have a lot to say.
The last little thing that we can touch on, last thing here, is the cinema, okay?
Very good framing shots. Several just bomb diggity framing shots where it would, like, pan across the television.
Yeah, I like that.
Will. Yeah,
I liked that.
Yeah, and that's, like, a really 2000s kind of Hugh Grant type of thing. Like, I feel like he always is having those panning shots where it, like, shows him sitting there sadly thinking about his life. But, like, I just really liked those because it really just shows kind of from an outsider's perspective, how he's feeling, how he's doing, and like with his narration, what he currently is prioritizing in his life. And then like other people, like when he left the restaurant, the girl Rachel that he was on the date with, it panned and then it framed her, and it just is cool because it kind of like takes people from a big stage to a smaller stage, and you just kind of see that little glimpse into their head, I think. So I just really, really enjoyed that.
I like that.
And it was like several different times that it showed that, where it's just like now you get a view into this person's head. The focus is now on this person. And it was a really clever way.
I like that too, because they had the two narrators that came together, two characters that met.
Yeah.
Probably not until like 15 minutes into the film, but you had seen both of them and they would finally meet.
Yes.
That's good. I really like the shot. There was one where like he drove away and it started inside the car, and then as the car moved, like the camera moved outside of it and you saw the car leave, and so that was kind of cool because that's kind of that's kind of an interesting one and hard to do, I know. And then also I really liked in the part when he goes to sign up for the talent show thing.
Yes.
And it's upside down and you see him kind of walking, and then you see the sign up sheet and him writing his name, and then it like kind of spins.
Yeah.
That's just good stuff.
I
loved
was watching it and I was like, this really helps me understand how he's feeling. Like his life is just turned upside down. Like he's going to commit social suicide, which is interesting. A parallel. Yes, because his mom really tried to commit physical suicide, and he's committing social suicide.
He's willing to do that to make her feel better.
Her, yeah.
Wow.
And so it just like shows how his life is spinning and changing, and it just shows like the reflection.
Yeah, when he walked in, his
self-reflection. Yeah.
When he walked in and his mom was reflected in the TV.
Yes, that was there were a lot of really cool reflective framing shots in this film.
Yeah.
That I think just helped
well
you
directed,
understand.
as long as these directors, they did a good job and really touched quickly on the music, because like obviously Nick Hornby's famous for High Fidelity, like a movie all about the music.
Yeah.
And this did have a really good soundtrack. I think it was good for the time. I really like the song selection. Obviously, I like the strum in my pain.
Yeah.
And I love the shake it.
And I think I didn't really notice the music that much, which kind of shows to me that it's like
that was
more
about
low-key,
the only like,
but it's like the vibe of the film, like
just key music selections that are
it just
a good choice.
Really added to it, and it didn't take away from it. So I think that was good.
Wow. So as a wrap.
Good.
A lovely, lovely film. Yeah. And you know what? Since this is the first film we've watched, I mean, in the drum rom.
In the drum rom category.
We're going to put it as number one for now.
Yeah.
Here it is, everybody.
Thanks for listening to this very long podcast.
I'm really grateful to anyone who is literally still here. Shout out to the creators.
And Mary
Shout out
Shelley.
to you, Holland.
Why?
For being my podcast.
Shout out to you, Hanny, for being my co-podcasting.
Stop. You don't have to do that.
Also, shout out to Mary Shelley and our roommates.
Shout out to our roommates.
For spooking me so many times during this. But
and that is all. We're gonna have to sign off. Apologies for whatever we did.
No apologies for the swearing.
You know what?
I felt it was warranted.
You know what? Yeah. No regrets. No regs.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Have a good night. Bye. If this is night where you're listening, can you just hang up? Just end it. Stop the recording.
Bye.
Bye.